Hey fellas, welcome back to the shrine. I have a special guest. Today, got this doll from a lady, and she said that this is her favorite doll, and she's not moving the head. I think the praying part still works. Maybe there's music and lights, but the head and the eyes are not moving. So we're gonna go and check out what is going on. So it looks like there's a wing here that comes off, and that's interesting. You can see these are glass fibers coming through this way. So I'm thinking there are some LED diodes or some kind of light that shines into this end, and then it's gonna illuminate this whole part. I did not turn it on. I don't even know if it has batteries in it. This just fell off and I put it back earlier, and that's when I realized that it's got these glass, not even sure what is it called, some kind of glass lines. It's like fishing line. But if you shine in one end, it's gonna illuminate the whole thing. Supposed to do that. Maybe there's too much light. Maybe you can see it. Okay, so there's the battery box. Looks like it's child-proof and temper-proof. They usually install a bolt here so kids cannot remove it and then eat the batteries. Oops. So there are batteries in it. Again, I didn't even try to turn it on. Not sure how it works. Nothing. So let's take the dress off and see what's inside. Okay, so far so good. Okay, oh, I'm in trouble. You know, it's one of those moments in life when I'm not sure what I'm doing. Okay, it looks like the arms are mechanized. I hope I don't make a big mess with this, because it's not gonna be good for my reputation, or whatever left of my reputation. Looks like this is okay, glued on. Okay, I'm just gonna, okay, dress is off. There you go. So what do we have here? We got some batteries down here. I didn't check if the batteries are good. And yeah, there are the lights. You can see these are the lights that illuminate the wing. 3 LEDs, and then looks like there's a resistor, couple resistors. Probably limit the current to the LEDs. Looks like they connected in series with the resistors. So the LEDs are connected in series too. And okay, so there's a clue here. You see there's a button. So I think if you press the button, she should do something if she's turned on. Okay. Ah, there you go. So there's music going on. Okay. Not sure. Not sure if we should wait till the end of the music. But what we got here is a tactile switch. and you can see it's just glued onto the hand, and then the hand is supposed to move. I'm guessing there is a motor inside, and that motor is supposed to operate. So what I'm going to do, looks like the batteries are good. What I'm going to do is remove this back cover and then go from there. The speaker is right in a hind area here. Let's see what's inside. Wow. Wow. There is a lot of stuff inside. Well, first of all, we got the battery box here, and you can see there are 3 wires coming from the box, but this green wire just bypasses one end and the other end of the battery box, so really just the orange and the brown wire are coming out of the battery box, these two, and then they go to this PCB board. There is hot glue, traces of hot glue everywhere, and then it goes to this motor, and looks like this motor is doing most of the work, most of the stuff. So what we got here is, you can see that the motor has 2 capacitors on it. So it's got one big capacitor here, it's got a smaller one there. So this is polarized, this is non-polarized, and looks like this is the PCB board that takes care of everything. I'm assuming that on the other side of the PCB board there is a microchip, and that microchip is caring for this button switch, this tactile switch on the handle, and then it is basically orchestrating everything. So if I move the motor, you can see that there's a gearbox, and this gearbox inside is moving all the things. So let's try to turn it on again and see if the motor is running. I didn't hear the motor earlier. Okay, nothing. Yeah, it was on, sorry. Okay, so that you can see the motor is running, and now the head is moving. So again, you can see that the hands are moving in and out, and then the head is tilting up and down. These are the worst kind of problems, because you can see that when it was assembled and I operated it, it didn't work. And now I took it apart and turned it on, and now it works again. So one thing I can imagine that happened is that when I took it apart, I moved this wheel, and what it does, it moves the commutator inside the motor. So this is just a brushed, small brushed motor, so it's got positive, negative, and it's latching on to the commutator. So there's a commutator inside, like so, and there are 2 brushes positioned like this, and this is like the cheapest motor. It's I think it's a 140 size or something around that. But you can see that if the commutators are not touching the brushes, then there can be a situation when that motor is not going to run. So if I move it a little bit, then it will run again, and I think that's what happened. So what I typically do is I go around and I wiggle the cables to see if any of them are broken or about to be broken. Just wiggle these wires around. These are supposed to be multi-conductor wires, and just make sure None of them are loose or about to become broke. I'm actually gonna go and remove this PCB board and see what's underneath. But I'm pretty sure it's one of those integrated small circuits, and it's encased in a black goo. You can see the circuit here. It's covered with this insulation tape. So this is the circuit. This is basically the brain box that is responsible for the music, to watch all the buttons and drive the motor, drive the speaker, and one thing I can see here, so some of these wires look to be not soldered properly. The solder seems to be missing. Yeah, so there's definitely one wire right there that's not soldered in. So I'm just gonna go and touch it up a little bit. And then it looks like the cable passed through and just cut off the access. But make sure that this cable is secure. Okay, so that is reinstalled. I'm really not sure what should I do with this motor, because right now it is working. None of the cables seem to be broken or damaged in any way. So yeah, this is one of those situations when it just needs a little mechanical attention. I still think it's really interesting the way it's done. There's just one motor here. It's got a small pulley, and through a belt it's driving a large pulley, as you can see. And then this pulley goes into a gearbox here, and that is moving the head, tilting the head back and forth, and then moving the hands in and out. But as far as the motor goes, I don't see any issues with it. Nothing is broken. Yeah, this is typically the scenario when you know, I put it back together and it doesn't work again. So maybe we need to look inside the motor and see something is burnt up. Yeah, well, since we are at it, why not? Everything is bolted together, so it's pretty much just removing a couple bolts here and there, and it should come apart. So there are two small tabs on these motors, one on each side. So I need to go and pry these out like so. So once that's done, then the cover should come off. I'm just anticipating that these brushes will just pop in. So now you can see the brushes and the DC motor. So there's the inside of the motor. There are two ceramic magnets on either side, and then the rotor has three windings, and then the commutator has 3 bars here. So these are the commutator bars, and I see some dark burnt up marks on it. And then these are the brushes. So what you can see here is the brushes have 2 prongs. So each brush has 2 prongs. And what they did in the past, they put some kind of grease on these. I'm pretty sure it's not graphite, but some other kind of grease. Whenever I took these apart, there was always grease on the commutators here. So everything checks out. Everything looks sorta alright. there's some green residue on it. It doesn't look like it's oxidation. Yeah, there's some kind of green residue on it, some kind of plastic stuff, as if it burnt on the brushes. But otherwise, the brushes seem to be in a good shape. Okay, so you see right here some kind of green residue. And you know, when you work with copper, one would think that this is the patina that forms on the copper. So if you look like old churches, the top of the old churches has the same green hue, and that is the patina on a copper. This, it's just the wrong choice to put this green as a grease. That's my opinion. It's just the wrong choice to do that. Otherwise, you can see the commutator looks okay. Not sure how much the camera can show it, but there are some dark bars here, like that. Looks like that's where the brushes were running, and this whole area, this entire area is nice and it's not worn. So it looks like this down here is where the brushes were running. Here's some 500 sanding paper, just for the sake of it, since I have it disassembled. I'm just gonna go and slightly sand it. If there is still any residue, just try to clean it up a little bit and remove that residue, just like that. Just come in and just sand the commutator. Make sure that it doesn't stop anymore at the same spot. So you can see that the copper has a nice, or a lot nicer sheen on it. So right there, you can see it's nice and shiny. So when you put it back together, the position of the magnets relative to the brushes is really important. So you can see on one side there's a cutout, and on the other side there is nothing here. And if you look at the cover carefully, you can see these are the two places where these tabs will go in on. Okay, these tabs will go into these places, and then on this side there's a protrusion, so that's where this opening should go. Otherwise the brushes will not be clocked properly relative to the You know what? I'm gonna do it a different way. So I'm gonna pop out the entire armature, just like that. Remove it, and I'm gonna install this in the cover. Here, you can see the commutator is nice and shiny. So once I put it back together, I can see that both the brushes are riding up here because they probably bent. See, what happened is when they were soldering it, this whole thing was pulled back. See these feet, these legs? These were pulled back. These were pulled back toward the center. And so that completely changed the position of the brushes, where the brushes are riding. So the brushes are riding up here. And I think that's not the desired way to do it. So I'm gonna go and unsolder these and maybe try to bend them back, or just try to bend these back. I put the motor back together, soldered on the wires, and did some testing. So it looks like out of 5 times it will start. 5 out of 5. What I need to do is I need to put some hot glue on these wires here just to immobilize them, make sure they don't rattle off, they don't come off, and then it can go all back together. There she is, all put back together, and I kind of like her. Never had a doll to play with, but this one's working. You can see it's doing the movement. And I'm looking through the viewfinder, and my camera is recognizing the face. Like someone is there, there's a face, my camera is recognizing it. I can't tell you what the song is about. I don't even know what the language is. And yeah, in the beginning I told you that there are 3 LEDs here, and each of the LEDs have a resistor, and when I turn it on you can see that they are of different color. So that's the wing, and if I turn it on you can see the color changes. So what they do is they turn on and off one of the LEDs. So you can see the red is on this side, the blue is on the far side, and the green is here. So they just alternating the green, the blue, and the red, and it's illuminating the entire wing and also the edges of the wing. I'm gonna try to put the clothing back. I'm not gonna bore you with that, but that's all I had for today. I hope you guys had a chuckle or enjoyed it a little bit. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you like the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye. She's a real cool girl on the altar.